Welcome back to the Embers Archive. Tonight, we chase the wind to a kingdom where storms are currency. Silence holds power, and a thief's heart might just be stolen by the one thing he cannot grasp. This is a tale of a storm thief and the silent princess. In the sky-reaching peaks, the kingdom of Eredor held dominion over the weather itself. Great storm gems pulsing with elemental fury were mined and controlled by the ruling council, bringing rain to barren lands or unleashing tempests upon their enemies. But this power bred corruption. The Lord Regent Volkov hoarded the gems, using them to bleed neighboring lands dry and consolidate his own authority while the aging king faded. Feared and whispered about in the taverns below was Zephyr, the storm thief. A figure of legend, they said he could pluck lightning from the air, ride the gales, and steal the heart of a storm itself. In truth, Zephyr was a rogue mage with a rare affinity for air, stealing controlled weather patterns and diverting small storms to villages starved by the regent's greed. His life of daring heists changed when a desperate plea reached him. A hidden faction of loyalists seeking to restore balance needed him for an impossible task: steal the Mother Stone, the largest and most powerful storm gem hidden deep within the royal spire before the regent could use it to unleash a permanent winter upon the land. The catch? The only person who knew the secret path to the Mother Stone's chamber, bypassing magical wards keyed to royal blood, was Princess Lyra. Known throughout the kingdoms as the Silent Princess, she had not uttered a word since childhood, following a magical backlash that had supposedly crippled her voice and her own weather mat. She was seen as a fragile, broken figurehead, closely guarded by the regent. Zephyr, a master of infiltration, saw kidnapping the princess as just another challenge. He moved like a phantom through the spire, bypassing guards and wards with gusts of wind and sudden, localized fogs. He found Lyra not in a gilded cage, but in the high, wind-swept royal aviary, tending to storm petrels with a gentle, knowing touch. She wore simple silver, her long, pale hair braided with sky-blue ribbons. Her eyes, the color of a calm sea before a storm, widened slightly as he appeared, but she showed no fear. She simply watched him. Apologies for the intrusion, Princess, but you and I have a storm to catch. Don't scream, "All right." He expected tears, panic. Instead, she met his gaze levelly. Then, with swift, deliberate movements, she began to sign. Not the crude gestures of the common folk, but the intricate, elegant hand language of the ancient sky singers, a magic thought lost to time. "I know why you are here," she signed. "The Mother Stone. I will help you. But you do this my way." Zephyr was stunned. The Silent Princess was not broken. She was waiting, and she seemed to have a plan of her own. Intrigued, and sensing a will as strong as any tempest, he agreed. Their journey through the spire's secret passages was a silent ballet of contrasting skills. He moved with the unpredictable grace of the wind, disabling traps and creating diversions. She moved with quiet certainty, her hands weaving intricate signs that deactivated ancient wards only she understood. He found himself utterly captivated by her. Her silence wasn't empty. It was full, observant, and surprisingly expressive. Her eyes conveyed more than most people's entire speeches. She communicated through gestures, through the subtle shifts in her expression. And sometimes, strangely, he felt he could almost hear her thoughts on the wind itself. They were forced into close quarters, hiding in forgotten alcoves as guards passed, their shoulders brushing, the air thick with unspoken tension. He learned her silence was not a weakness, but a shield. It hid a keen intellect and a deep, resonant magic humming just beneath her skin, a magic tied not to speaking spells, but to listening to the elements. One passage was blocked by a furious air elemental, a vortex of wind and energy bound by the regent's crude magic. Zephyr's power could only buffet it, angering it further. "I can't break through. It's too wild." Lyra stepped forward. She didn't fight. She raised her hands, palms open, and began to sign again. Not words this time, but patterns, rhythms. She moved her hands like a conductor, mirroring the elemental's chaotic dance. Zephyr felt a change in the air. The raging vortex slowed, its fury listening, responding to her silent song. It wasn't being subdued. It was being with a final, gentle gesture. Lyra guided the elemental aside, opening their path. Zephyr stared, breathless. Her magic wasn't crippled. It was different, deeper, They reached the chamber of the mother. It pulsed with the light of 1,000 storms, suspended in a cage of cracking magical ice. Lord Regent Volkov stood before it, his hands raised, drawing its power for his final, devastating spell. The Thief and the Broken Toy. Did you truly think you could stop me? This kingdom will bow before the power I command. He unleashed a blast of freezing wind towards them. Zephyr reacted instantly, creating a swirling shield of air, deflecting the worst of it. Princess, Lyra ran towards the stone. Volkov laughed, raising a hand crackling with stolen lightning. But Lyra didn't try to touch the gem. She stopped just before it, closed her eyes, and placed her hands over her own heart. She began to sign, not to the stone, but to the storm within it. Zephyr felt it, a colossal wave of raw, untamed storm energy building within the Mother Stone, straining against Volkov's control. Lyra wasn't trying to steal the storm, she was trying to free it. Volkov screamed as the power turned against him, the ice cage shattering, the lightning arcing back towards its wielder. Lyra, get back! It will tear the spire apart. But she stood her ground, her silent song reaching a crescendo. Zephyr realized what she needed. Not control. As he leaped forward, not towards the stone, but towards Lyra. He didn't try to steal the storm's power, but instead channeled his own affinity for air, creating a calming countercurrent, a gentle breeze to soothe the raging tempest she was unleashing. Their magics met her deep, resonant listening. His wild, free-flowing command, light and shadow, silence and wind, found a perfect harmony. The released storm energy didn't explode. It flowed upwards, guided by their combined will, harmlessly dissipating into the upper atmosphere, washing the sky clean. Volkov was left powerless, encased in ice from his own failed spell. In the aftermath, they stood in the silent chamber, the empty pedestal before them. The Mother Stone's power was gone. Returned to the skies, no longer a weapon to be hoarded. Lyra turned to Zephyr, her eyes shining. She reached out, gently touching his cheek. And for the first time, he heard her voice, not in the air, but clear as a bell inside his mind. Thank you, Storm Thief. The kingdom rejoiced as natural weather patterns began to return. The aging king recovered, Volkov was imprisoned, and the loyalists restored balance to the council. Lyra, no longer silent, revealed her unique magic and her ability to communicate directly with the elements, becoming a bridge between her people and the sky. Zephyr, the notorious thief, found himself pardoned, even celebrated. He stood with Lyra on the highest balcony of the spire, watching clouds gather naturally for the first time in memory. I came to steal a storm. I didn't expect to lose my heart to the calm within it. Lyra smiled, her voice echoing warmly in his thoughts. Perhaps some things are not meant to be stolen, but freely given. He took her hand, the wind whipping around them like a joyful embrace. The thief who danced with the gales and the princess who sang with silence had found their own unique harmony. And in the heart of the archive, their story took flight, a whisper on the wind, a legend of how listening can be louder than thunder, and love can bloom in the quietest heart. Thank you for joining us at the Embers Archive. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and let us know what legends you'd like to hear next. Until then, keep listening to the stories on the wind.